Yeah. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. I got Tone to Shields with me right now, Chalk It Up Sports, and Jay the Bull and Unk Dove are going to be here in a minute. I can't wait to hear these guys' thoughts on what's been going on. I'm excited for this. It's been a couple of weeks. Tone, what's going on, my man?
Life is definitely happening. I'm blessed and highly favored. I don't know about these Sixers though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how highly favored they are, but uh, just from a life perspective, everything is going all right. Just been going through little things, with the family, but things are starting to come into order. Things are starting to take shape, but you know, from a professional standpoint, things are going pretty well. From a fanatic standpoint, things are very, very sketchy, especially for these Philadelphia 76ers. And, you know, I'll let you lead it off. I'll follow your pace, man. I'm just at a loss for words right now. But like I said, I'll follow your pace and we'll go from there because there's so much to really tap into with this team. They have been abysmal. They've been cataclysmic. They've been unrecognizable.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like the beginning of this series was like 6 months ago. Like that's how I felt when I was thinking about coming up here and starting to have these discussions. I'm like, it feels like the beginning of this series was so long ago. Like the change of direction this team displays in a matter of a couple of days is insane. And I used the word bipolar before we came up here. That's the only word I could think of because have you ever been around somebody? Shout out to anybody that suffers with that, by the way. I'm not shedding a dark light on it or anything like that. I'm just saying, literally Tuesday, happiest person alive. Tuesday night, angriest person you've ever met. Same day. That's how I feel about this team. It's unbelievable. It's like, how can they start out a series, these first two games, giving us belief again that they are what they looked like the first couple of games James Harden came here, the honeymoon stage, if you will. It's like they went right back to that. Everything flowed. Everything looked like it made sense. James was back to being a half-court facilitator, just diming left and right, no looks, and running the pick and roll down their throats. They couldn't stop it. And they get us so high on that. And we're like, okay, this is the real team, finally. Maybe the end of the season was just they were going through the motions just to get to the playoffs, and that's where I was at. And then they were like, yo, you forgot we are the Philadelphia 76ers, so here's a punch in the face in case you got a little ahead of yourself. And game 3 should have been that, but Joel saved the day. Game 4, we got smacked. Game 5, we got smacked again. And that's where I want to start with this because I think the main question is, could they actually blow a 3-0 lead for the first time in NBA history? And the way that I look at it right now, the reason teams don't blow a 3-0 lead is because the better team is doing a lot of damage to the other team to get up 3-0, and they slip a little bit. I'm sure it's not the first time a team down 3-0 has won 2 in a row, so it never goes past. It probably has gone to Game 7 many times, but the 3-0 team never won the series. But the way the Raptors look right now, they look like they've taken the heart and soul out of us in the past couple of games. And we're going downward fast, and we need to change it. My answer is it's actually very possible that, that we actually blow this series unless we get some kind of change in energy tomorrow night or Thursday night. What's today? Yeah, Thursday night. Oh, you get a two-day relax break.
The same day of the draft, which is kind of annoying. But I was trying to avoid that.
That is annoying, yeah.
I wanted them to – they had 2 opportunities, and it seemed like they were trying to purposely tread on what's going on with the Eagles right now. But that's a different conversation. Watching these past 2 games, what stuck out to me was the lack of urgency, the lack of hustle, the lack of they seemed to be playing it too cool for me. It seemed like they were carrying themselves as if they already won this series. And there just seemed to be a version of the Sixers that we haven't seen in quite some time, right? And I'm thinking, well, let's look at it from this perspective. The Toronto Raptors are a team they like to get out and run. They're not a team that's overly skilled. They're not a team that is going to beat you in the half court. That's not their game. They're not talented that way. They don't have too many creative scorers. They don't have too many guys that can go get a bucket. They don't really have the type of roster that does well in the half court. They are a team that wants to get out and run. They are a team that's going to out hustle you, out physical you, out muscle you. They're going to wear you. They're the type of team to wear you down. When you take all that into consideration, and you think about how the Sixers approached this series, it made you think they had their number. The Sixers approached this series exactly the way they needed to. They were being more physical. They were being more aggressive. They were going after more loose balls. They were winning on the boards. They were just being dominant. They were just being the better team as they already are. And Doc Rivers was even impressing me at times. I'm like, wow, okay, Doc Rivers, he's doing pretty well with his lineups. You know, he doesn't seem to be panicking. There were moments in games 1 and 2 where the Toronto Raptors started to punch back, and the lead was at one point in the 20s. Then it got down to maybe like 11-9, whatever it may be, and the Sixers found a way to rally and say, this is our game, and that showed a lot of maturity to me as a team. That showed poise. That showed me that, okay, they're learning how to win in different ways. Case in point, game 3, the game winner with Joel Embiid. That game was not our game at all. They were pretty much controlling that game for the better part, but it got to a point in the second half where we got locked in on defense, and we were pretty much going blow for blow at that point, and we didn't lead until the game winning shot, and that told me, okay, we're capable of winning these kind of games. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The thing about the playoffs is everything's not going to be pretty. You need to learn, like watching that Boston-Brooklyn series. Boston, none of those games were necessarily pretty. Boston just knew how to lock in when they needed to. They knew how to play defense in key moments. That team is a team that understands momentum. They understand timing. They understand situational basketball. And I don't get that from the Sixers right now. They seem to be a team that's sleepwalking. They seem to be a team that act like they won a championship already. I think not. Do you not understand the assignment? And then Doc Rivers, my man. And we're talking about the inconsistencies of the team. A word that comes to mind about this Philadelphia Sixers team is the word duplicitous. The Philadelphia 76ers are such a duplicitous team. They show you one thing and they give you another. I know you use the term bipolar, right? But let's use something a little less spicy, right?
Got some new lingo while we was going. Some new vocabulary.
You know what I'm saying? Like you feel me? Oh, like it's just strange. And the last thing you want is to be around somebody who's duplicitous. They're showing you they this way when they're around these kind of people, but they act this way when it's just y'all two.
Oh yeah.
You don't want that. That's how the Sixers are right now.
You said it all, man. You said it all. Yeah, the Raptors aren't a team, and Raptors fans in the chat. Somebody already said, "What's this guy talking about? Siakam can go get you a bucket." No, he can't.
No,
Siakam.
No, come on.
Siakam. Listen,
no, he can't. No, he can't.
Siakam does exactly what we're saying he does. He fishes out mismatches and he beats people with his athleticism and size over the player that he's going against. Show me one single time Siakam took somebody bigger than him. He shies away from it every single time. I'm not talking down on him. He's kicking our ass because they're all long, athletic, quick guys that can get to the rim. And we got, there's stages of the game where we got George Niang out there and Danny Green.
I'll put it like this, right? Real quick. And I don't want to talk over you, but real quick, right? Because this is like I've been sitting with this, and I ain't really had the proper form to really get my shit off. And like he's talking about Siakam. What am I talking about, right? Siakam is not a creative scorer. He's not. Siakam. Siakam's bag is nowhere near. Listen, I'll put you like this. Siakam's bag, as far as from a scoring perspective, is not even as deep as Tyrese Maxey's.
This is his move right here.
Like he pushes all like it's all athleticism, it's all muscle, and that's fine. That's fine. It's the same thing with Giannis. Giannis doesn't have a deep bag of tricks at all. At all. But he's just so physically imposing. So, but Giannis is starting to expand his bag. You starting to see him, take guys on the dribble, so on and so forth. But my point is, Siakam doesn't have a deep bag. He doesn't. It's okay to be a fan, but his bag is nowhere. Is his bag not even as deep as Tyrese Maxey? It's not. Now Siakam is a champion. Matter of fact, I'll put you this way, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, my brother. Siakam not even the number one on the championship team.
No.
He's not. Siakam at best is the number 2. Fred VanVleet is at best the number 2, number 3. Like those guys, like they're well coached. They play hard. They play tough. But Siakam is not a number 2, not a number 1. Like if the game went on the line, like you're not gonna say Siakam, get me that bucket. You're just not. But if he's the only guy, you're gonna tell him to do it. You know what I'm saying? But Siakam is not a bucket getter. Jason Tatum, he's a bucket. He's a hooper. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Scorer, professional scorer.
That's a professional scorer.
And him and Jaylen Brown can both play perimeter defense too. That team is tough on both ends, man. But Unc, what you think, man? Do you think it's possible? Is there actually a chance that Doc Rivers could become the first coach in history to blow a 3-0 playoff lead?
I hate thinking about that. I hate when that sound comes out of my mouth.
It sounds crazy, but it would. Listen, if it's gonna be a city that does it, it's gonna be Philadelphia, man.
Where do I start? Is there a chance? Yes. Only a chance, be a chance, but it is one. Doc Rivers, man. Where do we start? Like you said, Tone, he did start off good. But it's like as the series go, like every other series he's ever lost in, as the series goes on, he starts to get more and more exposed. His lineups, his way of thinking, his stubbornness. And it's like, Doc, what is wrong with you? Like, it's just bad. Like, I've never seen it like this. And the fact that it's us, Philly, it just hurt more. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? I don't think we're going to let it happen. I just think that Embiid and Maxey, I don't know about the other guy, Embiid and Maxey are good enough that they can bring us to the promised land in Game 6 and don't even have to go back to Philly. We're more than capable of winning in Toronto. We showed that. I think that somebody has to step up vocally in the locker room. And I don't know who that's going to be. Hopefully it's going to be Embiid because that's the big fella and that's who we all, look up to and the city of Philadelphia adores. But it's definitely not going to be James Harden. And it's hard to receive it from James Harden because of his play. So even if he does come out like, yo, we got to do this, we got to do that. It's like, dude, what have you done the whole series? I don't think it's going to happen. No, I think we're going to close it out in 6. But it's always a slight chance that when you got Doc Rivers on your side, it could be, 3-1 comeback.
In all fairness, I had this game going 6. I had this series going 6 games. In all fairness, before the series even started, I said, you know what, it's gonna go 6 games. Yep. Because I knew they were a tough team. But when I saw us go up 3-0, I'm like, oh, okay, bet we had a schedule.
Exactly.
That changed things.
Yep. And I also didn't think we was gonna lose at home in the closeout game.
Yeah, that was rough. That was bad. But let me ask y'all a question real quick. The inconsistencies of this team, right? Doesn't that speak – think about it, right? We've seen this team be supremely talented. We've seen this team clicking on all cylinders, right? We've seen it. Game 1, clicking. Game 2, clicking. Game 3, got a little hairy, but, hey, heroics by Joel Embiid, you need those kind of games from your guy. You need those kind of games. Those games happen. Jason Tatum had a game like that in Game 1 against the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I'm saying? Game winner. But my question is, the fact that you see – so many different versions of this team, doesn't that go back to coaching? It has to, right? For your team to constantly have these moments where they're so prepared, or I'll put it this way, have these stretches where they're so prepared, and then they have these stretches where they just look unrecognizable. Doesn't that have to get put on coaching? Like what you're putting your guys as far as how to approach situational games, being able to prepare your guys for what's to come, the mentality, making sure you constantly checking the temperature of your guys and making sure they understand the assignment.
I think partly yes, but at the end of the day, like I feel also like it's millionaire NBA players. I mean, you're the best NBA player, you're the best basketball players in the world. If a coach has to tell you how important this game is. Like I agree that there's definitely things that you notice throughout a season and throughout a series where you say when you're consistently bad in transition, when you're consistently giving up on plays and things like that, that does come down to culture and overall just what's the aura in the locker room and at practice and what's the overall vibe, you know what I mean? Because somebody like Eric Spoelstra or Nick Nurse or a lot of coaches don't ever have those issues. And I think there's probably, it seems like Brett Brown and Doc Rivers, to me, are probably two of the most lenient, like laid back, chill, friendly coaches in the NBA. Oh, Brett's not anymore, but was. But I'm just saying, like, I think we expected Doc to come in here and be this hard-nosed, like, oh, finally we're going to have a coach that keeps people in line. And I think he was more laid back and passive than the other guy. So it didn't really fix any of the issues that we had. But I definitely think, yeah, the vibe and the overall message of the coaching staff affects it. But also, like, when they come out and play like that in the first quarter, and I'm watching Joel just stand there as guys are doing wide open layups, I'm like, how are we not excited, and how do we not have a fire in this game? How do you come out like this?
Can we acknowledge this in Game 5? Precious Achiuwa was giving Joel Embiid gas.
Yeah.
He was giving him gas. Like, he was giving him unleaded. Like, it was cheap gas. It wasn't even like he was just giving it to him. I'm like, yo, like they just look so flat-footed. They look so flat-footed. But you said something interesting, right? You said that, you know, when you think about from a coaching perspective, yeah, these guys are professionals. You shouldn't have to tell these guys how important the game is, right? But think about why we're losing. We're losing because of hustle plays. We're losing because we're allowing them to get second chance points. We're losing because of effort. It's the little things, and I feel like talent gets you but so far. It's up for the coach to help you guys clean up those little things, help you guys tighten up those, you know, those little things, making sure the guys say, hey, look, effort is not going to be a reason why we lose. Effort,
yeah.
And if your guys feel like they can pick and choose when they give you effort, that speaks to me about your coaching.
Probably true. Yeah. I mean, look, the way that Doc was babying Ben Simmons for a whole season when he got here tells me a lot about just how he is as a coach. He's kind of a nice guy, player's best friend type of coach. That's how he comes off to me. So he doesn't come off as hard-nosed as I thought he was going to when we hired him. Definitely.
And we got that misconception because he's an older coach that he was like that. But in reality, he's kind of soft.
Big time.
I gotta
soft.
say it like that. Yeah, like it's just Doc, no plays. Just I don't know, man. It's like he don't even. Does he have a real strategy when he goes out there? Like it's like, hey,
it reminds me.
You do.
Yeah. It reminds me so much of Brett because there's a strategy when the game starts. Usually, this past game, I didn't see anything from the start. Like, offensively, I saw a lot more pick and roll, but there's always a game plan when the game starts, and then the players get away from that, and the coach doesn't seem to do anything to like get them back into that. He just lets them go, and then there's just a bunch of ISO ball, and then you end up with James Harden trying to beat 21-year-old athletes off the dribble, and he looks like a 50-year-old man at the YMCA, and it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's like an accomplished Brett Brown.
Yeah. Great point. He's an accomplished Brett Brown. But let me ask you this, right? Now I was watching that Game 5, right? And one of the things that stood out to me on offense that was just flat out wrong to me, especially in the second half, is we came out of the third quarter flat. But like there was a point when we didn't score for like 5 minutes, like 5-6 minutes. But I'm paying attention to what's being done on the court. There's entirely too much two-man game going on. Too much of a two-man game. I'm watching, and like not just too much of a two-man game, but they're only taking advantage of one side of the court. They're not making Toronto keep their head on the swivel. Toronto, that entire game, only had to pay attention, especially in the second half. They only had to really pay attention to one side of the court because they were only trying to take advantage of Toronto with the two-man game. I'm just saying two different guys set picture of passing it, driving, kicking it back. I'm like, yo, y'all need to swing this rock around. Put Toronto's head on the swivel. Make them work for something. Like the two-man game is starting to get obsolete. They're not using like Doc Rivers is not really opening this court up. Like it seems like they're not taking advantage of the whole floor.
Well, speaking of the two-man game, like I think James Harden's inability to catch and shoot for some reason is a big part of that. Like when you get into this, we need to swing the ball stuff, and it stops at him. He has to take a dribble to shoot the ball, which I still don't understand. And then the defense has time to react. I mean, I like. So I mean, is James Harden as a player? I know he's regressing athletically. He's not even close to what he looked like in Houston and those years where he was dropping 60-point triple doubles and all that. But he's never been known as a very high level playoff performer, especially in big games. And I don't know if it's because of he plays the game one way, and as soon as the defense figures out that one way that he plays the game, he doesn't seem to have much outside of that. Like it's either a dribble step back three or a drive all the way to the basket, and that's it. He won't take a mid range jumper. But what really kills me is when the ball swings to him, he won't just catch it and shoot it. I don't understand it. He either hesitates and then passes it back, or he hesitates, takes a dribble. And they talked about how it's something that he's trying to learn how to do, playing with this team. And I'm like, you got to learn how to catch and shoot? How you play basketball your entire life and you have to learn how to catch and shoot?
That's my thing, man.
When you used to being the main ball handler, it's like when you used to.
He still is though.
No, I know what I'm saying is like, he's no, like, okay. There's some guys who are better shooting off the dribble. There's some guys who are better spot up shooters. You know what I mean? Like guys have a way that they prefer. Guys have a way that they prefer to get that ball. Like that's what comes with knowing your personnel and knowing your teammates. Like you can hear if you hear basketball players talk about chemistry, they always talk about, oh yeah, I know he like to get the rock in this position. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not saying he shouldn't be able to make catching shoot threes. You should be able to make if you're a shooter, you're a shooter. But comfort always shooters going to shoot at the end of the day, right? So you're right. James is definitely. I mean, that's not really a debate, right? James is regressing. That is a fact. And I was of the mindset of, you know what? People get on James Harden about not being the James Harden of old, dropping 30, 40-point triple doubles. And in my mind, I'm like, well, when he was playing like that, that was an issue for everybody. So now he's trying to take a step back, be more the facilitator, playmaker, and people are still killing him for that. But the problem is not that he's trying to be a facilitator; it's the fact that he's not efficient scoring. Like he looks like he can't finish at the rim. He's struggling to just be efficient, and he's not even taking that many shots.
Yeah, we didn't expect him to be that scorer, but we expected, like, hey, we finally have a guy that when the Toronto Raptors throw triple teams at Embiid every play, we now have another guy that's going to pick up the slack, and he's just not doing it. We're sitting here like, who's going to step up? It should be James Harden, but it's not happening.
You're right.
Yeah, my thing is like he can't beat people off the dribble, right? So then I looked at it like, okay, he lost his powers. He's not athletic. He has no lift. Cool, but the jump shot looks bad. Like if he couldn't do all that, but he could still shoot, he still had a shooting touch, it'll be okay. But it's still he's bricking like he's not making shots. He's not even taking the ones that he's taking is just like every now and then he'll get there. It's like him and Ben Simmons traded places. Ben Simmons' mind stayed here too and went with him in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Like,
and some of those. So he started getting booed by Philly fans last night. And
had to.
Some of those and those boos are actually tied to Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? These fans sat here and watched that happen. This guy came here. We're like, oh yeah, it's finally over. We got a superstar, and now they're sitting here watching this. Like, what the, bro? What's happening here? How is this still happening? Especially passing up wide open shots. Or, I mean, I don't know if it was the last game. One of the games I watched him pass up a wide open layup, and that was that the fan base had like a groaning noise when it happened. Like he caught the ball right at the rim and like kicked it back out, and we were like, hold on a second. That gave me flashbacks to the guy that we traded for you to come here.
No, you're right. No, you're right. It's spooky, honestly. But you know who I want to give credit to, honestly? I want to give credit to Tobias Harris because I'll be honest, Tobias Harris has been playing tremendous defense in this series. And on top of that, he has not been hesitant. When that ball comes, like when that ball swing to him, I never seen Tobias Harris with such a quick trigger.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't pump. I don't think I've seen him pump fake this whole series. Like every time that ball gets swing to him, like for a 3-point shot, he's letting it go and he's living with the results. And I want to give him his flowers because we give Tobias a lot of help. And I feel like Tobias has done the most, or done what he's done what he was able to do with his opportunities. And in these past 2 games, nobody played well. That's everybody. But I feel like games 1 through 3, I feel like Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, those guys were fully in their role, doing their thing. And something happened. And there's no way you guys, like, are you gassed? I don't understand. You guys are playing every other day. It doesn't necessarily add up to me. But Jay, like, welcome to the show. Like, I gotta pick your brain. Like, it's
man, I've been waiting for this. I'm so mad. I'm so late.
Man, just go. Go. Just pour the ripcord. Go.
I don't even. Oh man, no. You want to finish your thought, man? I'm just gathering myself right now.
No, listen. I'm good, bro. I need you to jump off the plane, bro. Pour the cord. Just go.
Oh man,
let it rip.
I'm gonna pour the cord. All right. I don't know how. I've been listening a little bit on my way home. I don't think you guys touched on this too much, but if you follow me on Facebook, I'm singing a different tune about Joel Embiid. I'm just gonna start right there. But let me just before I get there though, I'm just gonna say how I feel about how this is going. First of all, this has been the most devastating 24 hours of my life. I'm gonna need therapy. I'm gonna need. I just got the day of the game. I just got this poster. I almost ripped it up, but I was like, let me put it up. Let me just try to be a fan still. But I'm just devastated, man. I mean, I heard that you definitely posed the question, can the Sixers be the first team to blow a 3-0 lead? Absolutely. And at this point, I'm willing to bet on it. Is there a bet on it? I mean, we're not just talking because you said, I mean, not only, it would be typical that it'll be the Sixers, but we're talking about Doc Rivers. It's the perfect storm. This is literally the perfect storm of a fuck up. Like the biggest, like who else could give us this type of fuck up? I mean, nobody else could possibly do that. Philly, Doc Rivers, only those 2 things.
If you were going to blow a 3-0 lead, who would you employ to be? Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
There's no other way to go about it. I mean, it just is devastating, man. Going up 3-0. I mean, we talked about it before we went on, and we thought we was up for a tough series. So, I mean, the fact that we got it in reverse was also effing my brain up, and why I need therapy, because going out there and being a complete opposite of what we thought was going to happen, and then all of a sudden get the 3-0 league, and then start doing exactly what we thought was going to happen. It's infuriating, man. It really is. And like I said, I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to watch the next game. I don't know if I can. Like, my heart can't take it. Like, my heart I cannot sit there and watch Drake crowd surf for 50 minutes while the crowd erupts after every layup. Because you know there's going to be one of those type of games. You know it's going to be one of those type of games where every fucking layup.
Braids Drake too. It's braids Drake too. I feel some type of way about that. Like, that's Iverson. You know what I mean? He has to come with the braids when we play him.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. We're going into a tough and like
country. We're going into another country.
And they only got one team.
And they only got one team. And they're going to act like it's the effing Super Bowl. F the finals. They're going to play Game 6 like it's the Super Bowl. And I don't think that the Sixers is going to be able to match that energy. I'm just keeping it honest.
You just answered my question I've been asking for a long time. I always wondered why every time I make a Sixers Raptors video, there's 10,000 Raptors fans in the chat. This is the only team in the whole country.
Yeah, it's a whole country support that team. Man, you got guys from Montreal.
All they have. Got guys from Montreal, got guys from Ottawa, got guys from Ontario, got
all
guys
type
from
of places, man.
Wherever, Vancouver, if that's even in Canada, like, I don't know, like, just it's just like it's really painful just to even.
So I'm ready for my hot take.
Oh yeah, throw it on the grill.
Embiid is not that guy, man.
You bugging?
Embiid is not that guy. Embiid is not that guy. And let me explain. Let me explain. Embiid is not that guy. And what I mean by that is
Explain that.
I will explain the best way I can. It probably won't do any good, but I will. When you really look at the game of Embiid and when it comes down to these elimination games specifically, he doesn't have the tools to get these type of games done. I don't think he could get it done physically, skill-wise, and honestly, basketball IQ-wise. Now, maybe with a right coach, but, you know, and he could become something of that type of player. But as far as what he can do now and the elimination games that we have seen now, I'm fully convinced Joel Embiid needs to be A, B is what is it, like A1, A2?
Yeah,
I think he's A2. He's an A2 for
or
sure.
like a 1A, 1B player.
1A, 1B. Right. He's 1B. He's not a 1A.
I think when you talk about the center position in general, like somebody said the other day, no center has ever led a team really by themselves anywhere.
I was just about to say that.
I think he gets so much heat because it's so easy to double and triple team a center because he's right under the rim, and it's. But
let me ask you this though:
it's easy to take him out of his game, and it's easy.
That's where James Harden comes in.
Right,
he's supposed to be that.
The center's not a point guard. He's not a creator, so he's going to have a lot of turnovers.
But let me ask you guys this, and I need you guys to be as honest as possible.
Go ahead.
Shoot.
Even as a center, do you think Joel Embiid does with everything he possibly should be doing at that position?
I would say so.
Oh my God, he does.
Yeah, for sure. Bro,
so
all right, listen.
When he hold on.
He does more at that position than maybe any center that's ever played the game.
So what I'm saying is though, y'all don't notice how easy maybe he's probably one of, like, as a dominant big man, he just might be the easiest center to get his cookies taken at the rim.
Listen, let me tell you why. Listen, these past two games.
I agree.
I'm just saying, do he not sometimes seem a little too like Shaq? I used to get so annoyed because Shaq would get annoyed every time somebody calls Joel Embiid the most dominant player in the league. He'd be like, "No, let's scale it back there." I truly see why he says that, because when it comes to let's put it this way, what do you guys think Shaq would have did against that small ass Raptor team in the NBA?
I'm gonna tell you right now what Shaq would have did. He would have got called for about 17 offensive fouls because Shaq never created anything by himself. Shaq was just under the rim bullying people. He was just bodying people. He was, he needed.
Why can't Embiid do that? But why can't he do that if he's the biggest person out there? Why can't Embiid do that?
They don't call offensive fouls. I
would like to see them. Let's at least see the offensive fouls.
They have. They have.
Like we were talking about something that's not even happening.
They have, Carter. What are you saying? They have called offensive fouls. What are you talking about?
Bottom line, I'm saying,
bro,
what I'm saying is that
flat out wrong.
He's too timid. He's too timid under the rim.
Under flat out wrong, dog.
How is he not too timid, bro?
He's flat out wrong.
He's literally the biggest guy out there, and he's scared to attack the basket.
I agree with that based on the last game we watched. But
elimination game. He's like, he did this last year against the Atlanta Hawks. He went 0 for 12. He wasn't very aggressive. He stayed at the perimeter. It's the same problems.
The coaches
How
had him
many
at the
times
perimeter.
we're gonna let this? We can't keep annoying. I love this man too, bro. I love him too. But I gotta start holding him accountable as well. I have to hold him accountable. We hold Ben accountable. We gave Tobias smoke all season, and he's the only one showing up in the goddamn series. Like, come on. Like, he's the only one consistently giving us shit in the series, and we wanted him gone. He's supposed to not even be here if they listen to us. So think about that. Embiid constantly, just to me, doesn't show up when we need him the most. It was great to see what
do you call game 3?
I was about to get to that.
No, what do you call game 3? Because
what happened in game 3.
Game 3, he took over in that fourth quarter. Took over in overtime. What are you talking about?
And 33 and 15.
The first big man to shoot a game-winning three-point shot. Are you serious?
No. With that being said, did that win us the series or no?
Bro,
it's not a game, bro. It's an entire
what happened?
series.
No, listen.
You need to perform the entire series. series.
Bro,
if you're going
listen.
to win
What
the
happened?
championship.
Listen. What happened in Game 3?
Gotta be
What
Molly-
happened in
gotta
Game
be Molly
3?
on first take right here.
What happened in Game 3?
What have you done for me
What happened in
lately?
Game 3?
You
What happened in Game 3?
You won Game 3.
No. What happened in Game 3? My nigga, you talking about you talking about getting his cookies taken. Ever since he tore his thumb, bro, he has not been able to grip that ball. He been like you can see it. You can literally see he don't have
that before the thumb.
Bro,
he's always been like that before the thumb.
No, now you fraud.
He had the thumb injury in Game 3.
He had the thumb. Yeah, exactly. He had the thumb injury.
But listen, my response to that is adrenaline. When you're adrenaline pumping, you don't feel that till the game over. But listen, let me tell you this. Pre Doc Rivers. Matter of fact, I put you like this. Yeah, pre Doc Rivers. Joel Embiid used to always have massive turnovers, especially under Brett Brown. He used to have a lot of turnovers.
Last season.
Especially against Boston. Ever since, and he handles the ball more than everybody. But I digress. My overall point is, you can't sit here and tell me Joel Embiid did not improve passing out of the double team, protecting the ball.
Of course he improved. I say he's not there yet. I say he's not here.
Bro, he a big man. The easiest person to steal the ball from on the court is the big man. Are you kidding me?
He's not the guy that's going to get us there. We need a guy still. We think
he's the center.
He's not.
Bro, Eastwood just said it, bro. No center by himself is able to lead a team because of the style of the game.
That's so wrong.
Bro, you're implying that it's because of something he's not doing. It's the way the game is played. Yes, he had 2 bad games back to back. Everybody did. Everybody had bad games.
He's our superstar. That's not supposed to be an everybody thing. We're ripping Kevin Durant now because of the same thing. If we're going to put Embiid in a conversation with Kevin Durant, with everybody else, LeBron's, if we want to put him up there in that pedestal, he has to be accountable for those things. He can't come out in a Game 4, a must-win Game 4. You do not lose that game. If you're a fucking superstar, you do not lose that game. That's bottom line. That's what I'm saying. Kobe wouldn't have lost that game. Jason Tatum would have lost that game.
You talking about guards and forwards, bro. You talking about guards and forwards.
Tim Duncan would have lost that game. Dirk Nowitzki would have lost that game.
You meant to tell me Tim Duncan went about? Bro, Tim Duncan by himself. Bro, stop it, bro. Stop. Bro, you're not even being accurate right now, bro. You talking about you comparing the center to forwards and guards.
Tim Duncan is a center/forward, bro. Everybody considers, but he played most of the forward.
Tim Duncan was a power forward and hardly
big man.
Listen, he was a power forward that hardly put the ball on the ground, bro.
All right, I'm gonna be Molly on first take real quick. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys back on. We gotta take a breath for a second. I agree that Tim Duncan would have been more aggressive under the rim, and Joel Embiid needed to be in that Game 4. But
a lot of games.
I don't want to have short-term memory about what he's done the whole season and this playoff series. I think it's more on, and I know a lot of people think there's a lot of Embiid deflectors and nobody ever wants to slander him, so they pass it off. But we thought James Harden was that guy that we finally got that was supposed to take the pressure off when he's double and triple teamed. And this last game, Tyrese Maxey starts the series out with a 38-point game, a 21-point game, and he's a 21-year-old kid, so I'm not gonna whatever. You know what I mean? Him playing like that is amazing. If he falls off, he falls off. He's not even supposed to be doing what he's doing at that age. But everybody just kind of stopped doing what they were doing the first 2 games that made life for Joel Embiid even more difficult. And I agree, though, that this Game 5, like, I'm like, why are you hanging out at the 3-point line this whole game? I mean, there was plays where he's out there trying to create from the top of the key, like it was 2019 again. I'm like, we haven't progressed anywhere. So there's points that I agree with and disagree with. I think there's a lot.
I just feel like
there's a lot that goes into being a center and trying to lead a team because you're not a creator in the half court.
And I don't think he should be a creator. I'm saying as what he's supposed to be as a big man, as a dominant big man. We're giving him the most dominant big man in the league, right?
We didn't say that.
He don't. Plenty of people do say that though.
So
it's
he's
like
the best,
huh?
We said the
no,
best.
plenty of people.
I've heard
Shaq argue against that at least 3 times, bro. I've heard Shaq argue against that at least 3 times. That people call this
Giannis is the most dominant big man in the NBA, bro.
League. Oh, and I agree with that. Thank you. He absolutely is, and there's no reason that Embiid can't do the same shit by size, height, and
wait. How is Giannis the most dominant big man in the NBA? Who just led the league in scoring?
Well, I mean,
Embiid has the most post-ups per game in the NBA.
I prefer
led the league in scoring at the center position.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But like, because Giannis is like 7 feet tall, doing what he's doing, they consider him a big man.
Have you ever seen a single game when Joel Embiid looked as unstoppable as Giannis? Let's be honest. I just asked you, this is an honest podcast. This is going to be the most honest.
Yes. Giannis is very stoppable. He's very stoppable. He's one-dimensional.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Giannis is not
that
stoppable.
Drive, elbow, football charge.
No, I'm not saying he's not unstoppable. I say, has it ever looked like Embiid would be as unstoppable as Giannis around the rum? Around the rum. Because the thing is, a lot of times when Embiid is hot, he's making his mid-range shots.
Game 1 and 2 of this series, he was unstoppable under the rim. He had 19 free throws in game 1 for a reason. They couldn't do anything with him. He was under there the whole time.
You just went there.
What?
Dove, I need to hear. Dove, I need to hear. I haven't heard you for a minute, bro. We need to hear you.
If you said free throws too, Eastwood, that's not the same thing as actually dominating underneath.
That absolutely is. They can't stop him. They gotta foul him.
They gotta foul him. But
now you had me when you said Embiid needs to be under the court more, understandably. But once you went to he's not that guy and this and that, bro. Come on now. It's been plenty of times when he's outperformed.
So everybody here believes that Embiid can get us to a championship by himself. That's what I'm hearing right now.
Nobody can. I don't get it.
What do you mean? This is Kawhi.
Come on, dog.
Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki. I gotta name these people again.
Jay, what did Kawhi have? He had Kyle Lowry, who is an amazing half-court facilitating point guard. And he had Pascal Siakam playing the number 2 role perfectly in that system.
Fred VanVleet shooting like a sniper off the bench.
Well, yeah, you always got your team playing well with you, but
Jordan got swept twice in the first round.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that you don't need your team to perform. Of course, your team needs to perform. But are we satisfied with Joel Embiid's performance in these last 2 games? And are we saying Joel Embiid showed up and everybody else fell? Okay, so nothing I'm saying is invalid. It's not because even if his team is showing up, he didn't either. So I said he didn't show up, and I named people that did it by themselves, and y'all named a supporting cast.
Duncan did not do it by.
Y'all named a supporting cast. Y'all named a supporting cast.
First and foremost, you cut me off. Let me get my shit off.
All right, go ahead.
Second of all, nobody has ever done anything by themselves. I'm confused.
No, but that's what. So why you're not arguing against me then? That's my point. My point is we were foolish to think that Embiid could get it done right now with who he is and with who this team is. You're not arguing against me apparently. So what are y'all arguing against me for?
That's because the reason we think because James Harden is supposed to be the missing piece. Duh, I'm confused.
Dove, go ahead, man. You got the floor.
I'm lost.
Jay needs a drink, man. Jay, you need one of these, bro.
James Harden is supposed to be the missing piece. James Harden is supposed to be Kobe and Shaq 2.0, right? Now, Embiid's been bringing it since Harden came. Where the fuck has Harden been? So you're going to take that and blame Embiid.
It's dirty.
You're going to blame Embiid for Harden not holding up to his end of the bargain. And you're saying that people got.
I'm not blaming it. I'm holding Embiid accountable for terrible games, bro. And I'm also holding him accountable for past games where he wasn't also in a good position. Like you can't just ignore what he doesn't do. It's a lot he misses out on. He makes a lot of. Did you guys see where
what he doesn't do is not play point guard?
It's not even your turn,
it's not about just the point guard part. I'm talking about what he does on the court that he misses out on. Did you guys see where he when the guy he had 5 fouls, right? And he knocked Barnes down and he instantly went to complaining about the call, denying the call, by the way. And he went to complain about a call that wasn't even called while the game was still playing. This is things that he does that we ignore. That if he just worked on that, we could have maybe squeezed past, not be championship, still quality, I would think, but at least squeeze past teams like the fucking Raptors. I say this much, maybe Embiid can't get it done by himself, but he damn sure should be able to get past these Raptors.
Jay, everything you're saying though, everything you're saying is based off of this past game. You're real angry about it, and I understand that you are.
It's the last game brought it on, but this is all. Nothing I said is new. Nothing I said is brand new. Nothing I said. He said.
But you wasn't saying it's in game 3 though.
He wasn't saying this all year. All of a sudden, he got this newfound. He got this newfound feelings about Embiid. Oh, he's not that guy because of 2 games. Okay,
no, it's not because of 2 games. Because of how he played in general. The 2 games it just nailed it in for it, but how he plays.
Listen.
This is why we're going to lose Game 6 and 7 because you're putting faith. Because you're putting faith in a guy who needs help. He can't do it by himself. He can't get past this series without somebody else.
So why aren't you talking about the other guys? I'm so lost.
Because we're talking about Embiid right now.
All right, so look. If when Michael Jordan got swept in the first round 2 years in a row, were people yelling at him or were they saying he needs help? And then guess what? He didn't even get to the finals before Scottie Pippen. So he needed other players with him to help him do what he couldn't do. He was a great player. He would drop 40, 50, 60. So many amazing scoring games. And let me look at Kobe Bryant towards the end of his career when that Lakers team wasn't any good. He was just dropping 40, 50 points and losing all the time. Those are perimeter creators that you're talking about. We're talking about a center. And I think we're all in agreement that, like we knew this years ago, this guy needs a guard on the floor that can control the half court because he's a center. He can't do it, man. You smother him in the paint, and he's going to step out to the perimeter, and he's going to have a lot of turnovers. And I think all the deficiencies that you're seeing that upset you are just something that come along with a 7'1", 280-pound guy trying to dribble a basketball. He's one of the best ever to do it, and you're expecting him to be even better than that. That's all I'm saying.
I think your guys are just upset about my harsh language. That's how I talk.
I'm not upset.
No, you're just
I'm saying exactly what I just am trying to say, Eastwood. I'm trying to say that he can't be. Yo, chill. Yes, I am, because I'm trying to tell you how I am.
Mad about something
I'm
that's
saying
obvious,
that he's not going to get us there. He's not that type of guy to get us there. That's all. He's a 1. He's a A2, not a 1.
I think I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
That's all I'm saying. So what the hell are we talking about here? That's exactly what I'm saying.
But the issue is,
I would agree with that. He needs a James Harden in his prime to dominate the NBA. Exactly. But everybody does.
Why are you blaming Embiid for that? I'm confused.
I'm not. What do you mean blaming him? What do you mean blaming him? I said I'm holding him accountable for his mistakes. That's one thing. But I'm also coming to the realization that he's not the type of player where you can be like, okay, we got this one superstar and let's put a solid team around him. I don't think he's that guy. He needs a superstar with him. He's not a guy who just needs a solid team around him, which I thought, maybe you guys are saying you never thought that, but I thought he could be that. I thought he could be a guy with some shooters around him. I thought he could be a guy with some good role players around him. But okay, listen. I'm not saying any of that. That's my point. You didn't listen to me when I was making my point. My point is that even with not having those things or with having those things, he's still going to have a problem. He's going to have a problem no matter who's around him, unless it's another superstar who can rise to these occasions and score 10 baskets in a row. When the last time Embiid scored 10 baskets in a row? Even if it's under the paint, even if it's at the wherever it is, he can't do that. We need a guy that can do that. That's all I'm saying. A scorer that can do that, and he can't do that from his position.
He had a 7-0 run last night by himself.
I said a 10. We needed a 10
baskets. You want 20 points in a row from one?
No. I mean 10 points. I said 10 points. I said 10 points. Not 10. I meant to say 10 points. I mean, we need somebody that can take over.
Give me a center that scored 10 times in a row.
My point is that he can.
Give me a center that scored 10 times in a row.
It doesn't matter who can. Nobody can.
We're all in agreement.
What are you talking about?
You're the one arguing against me. What are you talking about? You're arguing against me. What the fuck?
You sound
I'm not
crazy.
saying anything. I'm
sound
saying
really crazy.
exactly what you're saying. It's just that I guess you're scared to say that Embiid's not that guy. Oh wow, he's not that guy
I'm
to me.
calm.
So
I'm
if you,
calm.
That's
if
the
you want to
disconnect.
say,
You're not.
if you don't want to say that he's not that
And
guy,
that's
I
the
understand that. But
disconnect.
that's my opinion. I feel as though he's not the guy to get it done. I'm
but
just saying
that's
we need another superstar. That has nothing
Don't
to
show
do
up
with
to the
anything
parade,
you guys are
dog.
saying.
Don't show up to the parade.
That's the disconnect, right?
Yeah.
The disconnect is not you saying that Joel Embiid had bad games. We acknowledge that.
We all
The disconnect-
He has a bad
the-
every elimination.
I'm muting Jay, bro.
Can you
I'm
talk
sorry,
about
Jay. You're firing, bro.
the disconnect is the fact that you have this belief that because he is supposed to be the most dominant big man, he's supposed to be able to score at will at any given moment. He is a 7'2", 300-pound center. If you want him to get in the paint, eventually they're gonna clog the lane. He's gonna need somebody else to create a shot. Centers don't necessarily create their own shot. You got to give it to them down on the block or in the paint, and then they got to muscle and do their thing. Joel Embiid is probably one of the most skilled big men we probably ever seen. We're jaded by his skill set to the point where we thought, oh, just surround him with certain guys and he could get it done. He's not a guard. He is not a guard. He's not a forward. What this team is missing is a DeMar DeRozan type. Somebody that can make playoff-style buckets, and that's the mid-range. Being able to create off the dribble, being able to be a true hooper. And that's where Tyrese Maxey comes in, and James Harden. James Harden is supposed to be that person, but he's clearly not doing what we expected him to do. If James Harden was carrying his weight the way we actually anticipated, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Let's be totally clear. Game 1, Joel Embiid did not have a good game. He shot 5 for 15, only 19 points. You know how they won? Tyrese Maxey was the guard creating scoring from the perimeter, scoring on all 3 levels. You had Tobias Harris giving you gas on all 3 levels. You had James Harden. I think he dropped like 18 or 19 or something like that, scoring on all 3 levels. The point is, the big man cannot be your end-all, be-all. Yes, they're going to be dominant. Yes, they're going to be dominant. They're going to dominate the opposition. But the bottom line is you need hoopers. You need someone that can create their own shot off the dribble. The way Tyrese Maxey plays is what you actually need in playoff-style basketball. The way DeMar DeRozan plays, you need those kind of guys. You know what I'm saying? You need guys that can create their shot on all 3 levels. And no one here, first of all, Joel Embiid, no matter how talented he is, we all knew that he can't be the only guy. We thought Ben Simmons was going to be that guy. He never stepped up to the plate. So we bring in a guy like James Harden to fill in those deficiencies. Whenever Joel Embiid has those games where he's being pushed to the brink or he's a little off or whatever, you need someone that can create their own shot off the perimeter in the mid-range. Someone that's a creative scorer. A center can't be that for you. To sit here and say Tim Duncan won by himself is a flat-out lie. Flat out. Just flat out.
Jay, I'm going to unmute you in a second, but I want to hear Dove first.
First off, we're going to look back. Everybody watched last year's championship, right?
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, most dominant player in the chip that year.
I know where you're going. I love it. Keep going. I know where you're going.
Who was hitting them shots? Who was making the moves off the dribble, hitting the shots when it mattered? Chris Middleton.
Exactly.
So you're okay. We understand Embiid has his times when he makes bad decisions. All centers do, all players do. But for you to go on a rant about how he's not that guy and then talk about the other guys, I'm confused.
I love that you said that because the Milwaukee Bucks were down 0-2 in the NBA Finals because for 2 straight games they were trying to run the offense through Giannis at the top of the key. As soon as they gave the ball to Drew Holiday and started running pick and rolls from the top, he was finding him under the rim. The whole game was different. And I remember watching that unfold like that. And that's exactly what's going on. You need a guy like Drew Holiday. I would trade James Harden for Drew Holiday yesterday.
Yeah,
I'd trade James Harden for DeMar DeRozan right now.
Do you know how good Embiid would be if he had that guy? Like how beautiful his game is.
I can't believe I was just forced to listen to 5 minutes of shit I already know very well.
Act like it did. Act like it did. Act like it did.
Nothing I heard
Then
either convinced me,
saying that's different.
size me different. You're literally saying everything that I'm saying.
Right, so
I'm
we're
really
agreeing.
like there's nothing.
You didn't say nothing we said.
Bro, I'm saying outside of Embiid's critique. Apparently, the Embiid critique is not translating to what I'm trying to say, which is that he needs these things in his team to work.
Who
he can't.
doesn't?
Everyone does. Yes, we agree.
You want him to be. You want him to
The
be.
problem is
taking the cash.
The problem is right. The problem is you're trying to hold him accountable for the dynamics of the game.
But you kept mentioning, because you kept talking about perimeter shooting and all this and creating your own shot, and that's all things I never mentioned when I said I had a problem with. I never mentioned any of those problems. So why are you telling me about them? My problem was that if you're 7 feet tall and everybody's guarding you is under 6'9", your cookies should not be taken so easily. What the hell that has to do with anything you said?
Now,
what did that have to do with anything?
Okay, I'm about to retort to that. Hey, Eastwood, can I retort to that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like I said, when you're 7 feet, anybody shorter than you can strip you easily. Are you kidding me?
Not Embiid. I don't see that happening to Giannis. I don't see that happening to him.
What?
I don't see him getting stripped out crazy. Not like Embiid does. Embiid gets stripped significantly higher for his size and height. I'm sorry, it's just true.
Joel Embiid has a higher rate.
For his power.
And Embiid plays more of a traditional center position type of player. Like
he's in the thick of it every play.
Giannis is like a 7-foot point guard essentially. And he can handle the
ball. I don't think he's been. When you think about I don't
think anybody wants Joel Embiid dribbling the ball in a double team at the top of the key.
Absolutely not.
Right, we agree. That's what we're saying. We get it. But that's not something to hold against him.
I'm not holding that against him. I literally said I'm talking about being the part that he's supposed to be good at. He's not that good at that sometimes, especially in elimination games. In elimination games, when it's time to do what he does best, he's not even good at doing that. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing else that y'all talking about matters to what I'm saying.
He didn't do it yesterday. I agree with that.
And he does it every elimination game. He's like that. That's my point. In these high-stake games, when it's on the line, and you can't lose, and you're shit-talking Drake, talking about I'm coming for the fucking sweep. You better come for the fucking sweep. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm talking about. If you're sitting there, if you're going to sit there and tell me that he's not that guy, and he's never supposed to be, well, no, I'm saying that. But if you're sitting there telling me that it's not supposed to be any different, we're not looking for it to be that, then he shouldn't be talking like that. He shouldn't be. Bottom line, he talks like he's the best player in the league. And if you're going to sit there and every time he doesn't perform, cower down and say, well, we don't expect that from him, then he shouldn't be talking about that when he do perform.
I can't disagree with any of that.
When he is hitting 3-point shots at the end of the fucking game. Because if you're that guy, then be that guy. But every time you're not, it's just, oh, well, he needs help. I know I'm doing it overall now. That's the realization I came to. I'm no longer riding the Embiid train when it's high, and then when in these super important games come, we make excuses of why he's not there. I'm just holding him accountable for where he is. If he's a good center, a great center even, maybe even an MVP center, quality. But he's not. I'm just saying that I came to a realization because I hold him accountable for those also great things. The same way I hold him accountable for how bad he plays, I do the same thing with how good he plays. So I started to look at him as somebody that could get it done. That could get it done as a big man. That could get it done with the right pieces around him. And what I'm saying is that I don't think he can, even if he did. That he still needs a superstar along with him. That is the only thing that I'm talking about tonight. That I was trying to express my point on.
I always think you're right until you say that last part about that needing a superstar with him. And then we're all like, yes, everybody does. That's what we've been saying this whole time. Everybody does.
So that
you say everybody does, but Eastwood, I just told you that because of his play, I thought he could be that guy that could get it done without it.
Who has? I keep asking you, who has though? I keep asking you that. Who has done it without that? Who has done it without another superstar?
I'm not.
No.
Nobody has never done it without a superstar. There was a team. It's called. Did you ever hear the Detroit Pistons 08 who had no superstars? You ever heard of them?
That wasn't 08, but that was an
whatever. Yeah, whatever year that was.
I would never think that Joel Embiid could get it done by himself. This is why I've hated Ben. This is why I hated Ben Simmons for 4 seasons, because the guy would never step up when Joel's getting double and triple teamed, and now I'm witnessing the same thing with James Harden. Like, right. You can take a center out of his game pretty easily, especially with a bunch of 6'9" athletes. You fly at him and take the ball out of his hands.
That's a fact. Yeah, you're right about that.
Because all you got to do.
I'm saying I can take
do-
accountable for when he's getting shut down. I'm fine with that. When he's getting double teamed and he's passing out, I'm good with that. That's fine. And next time maybe I need to come with some clips. But I can show you guys specific clips where this man has somebody beat and he somehow doesn't. Like, it happens a lot. Maybe I'm telling you, he be having people beat under the basket. How about that shot? How about that? I know this was a regular season, but it's his example. But remember that buzzer beater that he could have had, but he went up for a soft layup instead of a dunk? It's shit like that happens with him a lot. It does. It happens with him a lot. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna end it right there. That's all I'm saying.
What's the old phrase?
Hey, thank you for the content, by the way.
Like,
yeah, it is. I told I was gonna turn up. Listen, I don't want anybody to think I don't like it.
How does the old adage go? The curse of the gifted. When you're so talented, when you're able to score in so many different ways, sometimes you don't want to always throw your shoulder against somebody. Sometimes you want to be finesse driven, and that's the part of Embiid's game that I don't like, when he leans too much into the finesse. And I can agree with you that there are moments where he should step up and still be dominant no matter what, right? But like Eastwood said, Joel Embiid is an anomaly, and it's very easy to take a center out of a game, really, if you want to be totally honest. It's easy to take a center out of a game, but he's so dominant, he's still able to contribute in his own unique way. But at the end of the day, we can't sit here and just pretend like Joel Embiid is not that dude.
Of course he's that dude.
Like we're not going to sit here and allow these words to just be spewed on a Sixers platform.
That's what I'm saying, Jay. When you said maybe it's how I'm saying it, I'm like,
I think that's
it's how you're saying it.
And then you start naming people.
It's one thing to hold him
this
accountable.
person that did it. They ain't done shit.
It's one thing to hold him accountable for his bad games.
I'm just saying, like crunch time minutes. I'm just looking at the crunch time minutes. I'm looking at the prime time minutes.
Stay there, Jay. Stay there, real quick. Stay there, real quick. Stay there. You talking about the crunch time minutes, right? If I'm being totally honest with you, I don't want a center dominating the ball in crunch time. I want a guard or a forward. Because
we're all agreeing with what you're saying.
They can create their own shot, but because he's the best player on the floor, you're going to try to find creative ways to get him the ball. The problem is Doc Rivers gets him the ball when he's too far away from the rim. Like, for example, that game winner in Game 3, let's be totally honest, that's a terrible call, terrible shot. That's a terrible play.
It was the same shot at the end of the fourth quarter that he missed. And he ran the same play. Yeah.
Right, and in the same play that they tried to run, and then he almost lost the ball and they called a timeout. So, like, that's a bad play. But because Joel Embiid is such an anomaly, you do whatever you want to do with him. But the bottom line is, Joel Embiid, he's actually doing the most in his role. What this team needs, first of all, every big needs to be paired with a dominant guard or forward. Every big that's ever won a championship had that guard or forward next to them, that wing player. And I think it's a bit unfair to say Joel Embiid never gets it done in crunch time, when in all reality, the center position is not even designed for them to get it done in crunch time. It's just really not.
I hear you.
Unk doesn't look too happy, man.
This dude will yell. He will yell for 30 minutes and don't want to hear your point. You see him? I feel you. I hear you. He lying. He don't hear you, or he don't feel you. He lying. All I was trying to say. All I'm trying to say is, I understand he has his deficiencies in his game, like any other player. Sometimes he doesn't make the right move at the right time. Sometimes he shoots too much. He's out on the three-point line too much. Happens a lot. But for you to say he's not that guy because of that, strictly, no. Because if you put the right people on the team, I think if we had the team that we started with in the beginning of the season, the Raptors would have been out of here already.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
The Raptors would have been out of here already. But since we made that trade, we lost our bench. We got James Harden. He's not playing up to his potential. That's why we at where we're at right now. I know Embiid hasn't played the best in every game, but I truly believe if we had the team that we had in the beginning of the season, this series right here would be over. At least.
So you think because kind of what everyone was saying right when that trade happened before we saw James play was we depleted our bench, and it's going to come back to bite us.
Yeah, our season was going better when we had them. Look, Embiid was killing the league ridiculously with those players that he had, and that's how I know he's that guy.
Really, you're just really talking about Seth Curry at that point.
Seth.
You one dude, that's who you're talking about. I don't agree with that. I think we were at some points I do like what the team we had before Harden. I can't lie, especially with having a backup center who can come in and give good minutes. But I think we just still ran into these problems. I don't know if we would have been in this exact.
Don't get me wrong. I would love
I think the
Andre
Raptors
Drummond over B-Ball Paul or Paul Millsap.
Seth Curry had a better playoffs last year than James Harden.
He averaged 20 points a game. You're right.
Absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I still don't. I just think.
But he was also a liability on defense. Kevin Porter was a liability on defense. Kevin Porter was giving him a bad.
That's a fact too.
James Harden is a liability on defense.
But I'll take my chances with James Harden and Steph Curry. I'm sorry. I'm Steph Curry. I'm
really?
sorry.
James Harden.
I would say this. It's kind of like apples and oranges because the thing is, I would have loved to have Curry here for the shooting for right now because Harden's terrible right now for the three, but we definitely got a way better ball handler. We would have definitely ran into ball handling problems right about now. If we still had that team before Harden, we would have been running into that ball handler. We would have had Court Miles out there running the fucking point.
You should have made a better move.
Now you spitting, Jay.
I've been spitting, nigga.
Always bullshit tonight.
I was always spitting.
I like that last little thing you threw in there. We should have made a better move. That's a different topic.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because making a different trade for Ben Simmons and bringing like Halliburton in here and that Kings trade that they passed up would have kept us Seth Curry and Andre Drummond and added Halliburton and Buddy Hield to the roster. So there's a lot of different things that
you know what I heard?
Daryl Morey passed up because he was obsessed with James Harden. I'm not going to deny that at all.
You know what I heard? I heard somebody say we should have went and got CJ McCollum because like the way CJ play, CJ he can create his own shot, he can score, but he's also a facilitator. He also got he still got his legs unlike James Harden.
Bet you would have saw the best of Embiid.
But CJ he's not a black hole. CJ can shoot spot up. CJ can shoot spot up threes. You know what I'm saying? CJ can he can score like
catch and shoot off the dribble, shoot the mid range.
I feel like CJ would have been a better fit.
When I say I would have took anybody, I mean any of those names that were mentioned before James Harden. I would take any of them right now. We need a scorer. We don't and Maxey, like you said, I agree with you about the first game. Maxey was the butt of the first game. That's why that game went the way it did, because we had a scorer. And when we don't have that, obvious holes are there. You know what I'm saying? But
let's all talk about Maxey then. What has happened recently with Tyrese Maxey? Because to me, he looked insanely confident in game 1 and 2. Like he looked like a veteran playoff performer. Like he was the man. Like I don't know, man. Somebody told him something at breakfast or something. He was not Tyrese Maxey in that game. He was a veteran NBA scorer, and then now he's reverted back to just being like on the corner, like gonna make a play once in a while, finish the game with 15 points type of Tyrese Maxey. Whereas, I don't know what happened to that confidence.
It was our top 15 coach.
You know what I think? You know what I think? Seriously, I think it was Doc Rivers, and I feel like I was watching game 5 and game 4 very closely, and every time he had lanes, he kept looking to his left or his right as if like he was supposed to get a ball to somebody else. He keeps being passive. And in game 1 and game 2, that was not what he was doing. No,
I have a theory about that. I can piggyback off that. You're absolutely right. He did get a lot more passive, but I'm gonna have to. I think we gotta give that credit to the Raptors defense. I think they started to scare him. I think in the first 2 games, let's be honest. The Raptors that we are seeing now is not the Raptors we're seeing in the first 2 games.
Actually,
we saw in the first 2 games. You think so?
I think so.
Defensively,
I don't know about the first 2 games, but it's the Raptors that we saw in the regular season. They're a top 3 defense in the NBA.
Right. No, I'm talking about the first 2 games. I don't think defensively they were who they were in the first 2 games. And I think Maxey is now folding a little bit to that defensive pressure.
Let me tell you what the problem is, really. Let me tell you what the real problem is. Here's the problem. The Raptors are who they are. They haven't shown us anything different. The difference is with the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers are playing differently than what they played in games 1 and 2.
But you don't think that's because the Raptors are playing better?
Hold on. The Raptors are a team. The Raptors are a team that likes to get out in transition. If they're forced into their half-court set, they're nowhere near as a threat. Nowhere near. Now, this is where the Sixers come in. The Sixers stop being aggressive in transition defense. And on top of this, hold on, let me get this off too. The Sixers, the Toronto Raptors, they're a team that loves to win the battle of the boards. They led the league in offensive rebounds. I know. This past season. They led the league. When they're not able to run a transition, when you limit them on the offensive boards and limit their second chance opportunities, they're nowhere near as fluid as they looked in these past 2 games. The Philadelphia 76ers took their foot off the gas. And that's exactly why the Raptors look so fluid. The Raptors are playing the exact same way. Look at the scoreline. The scoreline, we're declining. They're doing the exact same thing they've been doing. They're putting
we're declining because their defense has picked up, Tone.
No, we're declining because we lack intensity. They're not showing us.
Absolutely,
they're not showing us.
I think it's a chain reaction. I think what we're saying is 1A, 1B. It's a chain reaction, Tone. It's a pick up a defense was causing us to play different.
Well, uncomfortable. You know what my dad always told me? My dad always told me. You know my dad always told me? He said, listen, son, it always begins with you. And guess what? It begins with the Sixers. It begins and ends with them. At the end of the day, I'm watching the game just like y'all. We see the opportunities. They're not big. Like we see the loose balls they're not diving for. We see them getting second. We see the Raptors getting second chance opportunities. Listen, perfect example. I got the notes right here. Let me tell you this. It was I think it was game 2 or game 1.
Look at my guy. I respect it, man. He's got pages and pages.
Listen. It was matter of fact, game 3. In game 3, the Sixers played terrible, right? Let me throw some numbers at you right here. The Philadelphia 76ers committed 24 turnovers. 24 turnovers. Out of those 24 turnovers, 9 of them were steals by the Toronto Raptors, meaning that 15 of those turnovers were unforced errors. They were playing terrible, right? Now, here's where things get interesting. The Raptors were, out of those 24 turnovers, they only were able to score 11 points off of those turnovers. Think about it. When you turn the ball, that's an extra opportunity for them. Think about it like this. If we turn the ball over 24 times and they score every time, that's 48 points, right? They only scored 11 points off of our 24 turnovers, meaning that we still kept our intensity on defense. Let me throw this at you as well. The Toronto Raptors only let me finish. The Toronto Raptors only turned the ball over 11 times. Guess how many points we scored off for the turnovers? 27. So there's a problem with our intensity. There's a problem with us taking advantage of our opportunities. This ain't got nothing to do with them. This is us. We're turning the ball over. We're giving them opportunities. We're letting them live. Toronto was the type of team that you got to kill them.
Hold on.
Toronto is a team that live and die with their heart. You got to smash
one of your points before I forget it. You said that they're only scoring that's the amount of points over turnovers mean that their defense stayed the same. Not entirely. Don't that also mean they could have sucked at shooting that night? Like, what was their shooting look like?
We was watching the game. They was playing defense.
I'm saying the Raptors. You said the Raptors only scores a X amount of points. I forgot what you said.
Yep.
Okay, can that mean that they sucked on
offense?
You wanna
know why? No, you want to know why? Because listen, let me tell you why. No, let me tell you why.
They did suck. They're not a good team.
They're not a good shooting team. They're not a good shooting team.
No, they're not a good shooting team. Right. But here's the thing. With those 24 turnovers, that means you have transition opportunities.
Okay. If you're not a good shooting
no, let me finish. You got transition opportunities. They live and die with the transition. When you neutralize what they do well, that makes them flat-footed.
But those turnovers also count when they go out of bounds. So that means also when it went out of bounds, also when they travel,
that's
also
that's why
turnovers are a lot. There's a lot of different turnovers.
You're not listening. You're not listening. I already explained that. I said they turned over. I said the 6 turnover over 24 times. Out of those 24 turnovers, 9 of them were steals, which means 15 of them were unforced errors.
Or out of bounds errors, right? Out of bounds.
Unforced errors. That's what that is. An unforced error.
Out of bounds play could be an unforced error. You could dribble off your foot. You could dribble off your foot, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So again, let me ask you guys, why do you think that is? Like, when you see this team come out in an elimination game with a lack of intensity, I'm confused. I don't understand it. I'm watching the TV. Like, how can NBA players, aside from talking about the coach and all that stuff, how can NBA players come out here and play like this? I was just watching them stand around wide open layup after wide open layup, and Joel Embiid's getting beat, and then there's no help defense either. Tobias is just standing over there. James just standing over there. Like, it was the easiest thing. I couldn't believe what I was watching in an elimination game. Where do you think that, like, I don't understand how that switch flips where there's no intensity in an elimination game.
That's why I'm saying it's more realistic to say that the Raptors ramped things up, and of course Doc Rivers wasn't able to adjust his team to get it done. I think that's what happened. Because do you want to believe that these guys are that pathetic that just even though they dominated this team game pathetic. 1 and game 2, that even though they dominated them game 1, game 2, one exciting ass game in game 3, they said, you know what? I don't think we could beat them anymore. I think the Raptors started to step on their shit. The Raptors ramped up.
They're playing free.
They ramped up too, though, bro. That's what I'm saying. They ramped up.
I think it's more so we ramped down.
We did. Our mentality
changed. Ramp down, but you cannot just say the Raptors did not show up either. We're not playing the same Raptors in game 1 and game 2.
Our mentality changed. We're not. Our mentality changed, and I'm going to agree a little bit with Jay right here when I say this. Joel Embiid's mentality started to change when the fix was in on game 4, and he was no longer getting any calls, and the Raptors shot 35 free throws, and he did a little clap, like, congratulations, you guys did what you were supposed to do. And I did a whole conspiracy theory video on it, and I believe it wholeheartedly, and I don't care what anybody says. They shot 35 free throws in a sweep game, and yesterday they shot 13. You know what I mean? Like, that game was it. The NBA's not having no sweeps this year. I'm serious about that. But Joel, that put him off. He was like, all right, now they're not going to call it like that this next game. So we got this. We're just going to run them over. And I think there was like this lack of just care. I think they thought it was going to be easy now that the game's going to be called evenly, which it was. And we still got our asses beat.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I think they did think it was like going back home. They don't got to worry about the refs, even though the refs were kind of still drawing on us at home. If y'all agree with that. I don't know if y'all
there was a couple. There was a couple.
It was a couple of questions and things. I'm like, well, come on, bro. Like, but
there was a couple. Scotty Barnes and Siakam push-offs that the whole crowd's yelling push-off. Everybody's yelling push-off, and they just wouldn't call it. But that's not really changing.
And at the end, they started trolling us. I feel like they gave somebody a tech for no reason with that b-ball pause. Because they were just started. The refs were kind of, I don't know. They were kind of questionable a little bit to me on that.
But that wasn't.
But we can't blame it on that. You're right.
Yeah, none of that was really changing the outcome of the game.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so now that we got all that out, what do you guys think has to happen to close it out? I don't think Jay has any confidence in us closing this out at all. I think he thinks this is going to be the first blown 3-0 lead in the history of the NBA.
Because Embiid's not that guy.
Let's go one by one. We'll start with Tone, man. Do you think we close it out in Toronto, or do you think it comes back to Philly in Game 7? And what do you think really needs to change with this team? And how does it change? You know, is it the coaching? Is it what happens in a practice? Is it you know what I mean? What do you think?
For me, honestly, I think we win Game 6 on the road. But here's what needs to happen. Like I've been saying from the very beginning, Toronto is a team, and I'm going to keep repeating myself because it plays out every single time. They want to get out in transition. They're a team that's going to, because they're not talented, they're going to try to out-muscle you. They're going to try to out-hustle you. They're going to try to beat you to every loose ball. They're going to try to crash the boards. The way their team is built, Their team is a bunch of athletic 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys, and they literally play very good defense. The Sixers have to, in order for them to win this game, it can't just be talent. It has to be heart, has to be hustle, has to be mentality. The Sixers need to completely rediscover who they are. They need to watch a Rocky tape or something. I don't know what they need to do. But in my humble opinion, we have not been getting beaten because they're a better team. We have been getting beaten because they are outworking us on both ends of the floor. They're moving the ball around. They're getting out in transition. They're getting easy like yesterday, they were getting so many easy buckets. And that speaks to our lack of intensity. Offensively, they haven't gotten better. They're just like think about their scoring output. We're the ones who are regressing, not them. They've been pretty steady. We're regressing. So we need to rediscover how we got here. We need to rediscover what we did in game 1 and game 2, and that was intensity. Strictly intensity. We need to come out and punch them in the mouth because we saw flashes of what Toronto wanted to do all series. We saw in games 1, game 2, and game 3. We saw what they was trying to do all series. But we were handcuffing them because they couldn't get out in transition. They weren't getting the second chance points. They had to actually play basketball. Their coach had to work that much harder. But when you out-hustle them, you out-muscle them, you beat them to the loose balls, you beat them to the boards, you limit their second chance opportunities, that team is not talented enough to outscore you.
I feel you. I feel you on all of that, man. Unc Dove, man, what you think, man? We close it out in 6, or do we go to a game 7? What do you think has to happen for us to not be the first 3-0 blown lead in playoff history?
I want to make this pick with my heart half-heartedly. I think we're going to win tomorrow. I feel like we have to win. I feel like James Harden and Embiid are the stars of the team, basically, the 2 top stars, and they know what they have to do. And they know that if they lose and go to Philly in game 7, whether they win or lose game 7, we're still going to be looking at them like, what the fuck? So I think that tomorrow we're going to close it out in Toronto. We're going to come out swinging. Like Tone said, we have to be more aggressive. We have to want it more. Somebody got to say something. I think between now and tomorrow, something's going to be said, and the fire's going to be, battery going to be in their back. I think Embiid's going to hopefully feel better, and he's going to dominate from start to finish, and put the naysayers to rest. Going to the next round. I think tomorrow we're going to win. We're going to knock them off in 6. We don't even have to come back home, get a little rest or whatever, and get ready for Miami. We got this.
I like it. Yeah, that's why I said what I said about what Embiid said yesterday in his postgame where he called out Harden for only having 11 field goal attempts. I just wish it wouldn't have been said in a post-game press conference. But people, I made the video talking about that, and people were like coming at me because they didn't, people don't watch a whole 8-minute video. It's too long. They comment, they hear 30 seconds of someone talking, and they bam in the comments, what are you talking about? Yeah. But towards the end of the video, I was like, with all that being said, I agree with everything he said. Everything he said was correct, and he needs to, hey, man, listen, I need you guys, bro. You can't be out here shooting the ball 11 times. Go ahead, Jay. What you think, man? We close it out in 6 in Toronto. Do we go to game 7?
Bro, it's over. At least game 6. I would say this. I have no faith in game 6. I think the environment is going to be super crazy, super lit. It's going to be a celebration up there. It's going to be treated like that. They're going to come out super hot. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to agree to disagree with Tone's take. I think the Raptors has ramped it up on defense. You're saying that we have gone down in production. Yes, I think that's because of good defense. They wasn't playing that well of good defense on us the first 2 games. So that's why we are now suffering differently than the first 2 games. They turned it on. We have to figure out a way to turn it on above that or turn them off offensively or match their defense with our defense. Something has to give. But that's all that's being said. That's game 7. I'm talking about game 7 strictly because I already got game 6 as a loss. I'm sorry. Y'all can call me negative, whatever you want. I'm just saying the Sixers are who they are, who they are, and I just feel like they're the type of team that just chokes away in those type of games, those high pressure. We saw what happened with the Brooklyn game, how high energy that was, and he just folded. Like I don't want to keep comparing regular season against the playoffs, but I'm just saying as examples, and I just feel like it's gonna.
Go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah, I just feel like it's gonna be there. And just to end my point though, just I'm gonna let my Embiid take sit on y'all because I want to let y'all know I'm 3-0 in my hot takes. I said that when Donovan Mitchell was a rookie, I said he was better than Russell Westbrook. I was called the same for that. Now look where Russell Westbrook is at. When
Donovan Mitchell's like 26, Westbrook's like 36.
I mean, but he was declining over the last couple of years, though. I was just saying,
if Donovan Mitchell wins a scoring title and an MVP and averages a triple-double in a season, then yeah, okay. I'm not even a Westbrook fan.
So you don't think that Westbrook? You don't think Donovan Mitchell has a projector to have a better season, a better career? I mean, I think he has a projector better than
probably.
Westbrook. I'm saying that's what I meant by the take.
I think maybe he's a better shooter slightly.
As long as he with the Jazz,
I said the
Jazz, he not winning shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, on a different team, he probably definitely would get there. I said that the Brooklyn Nets were frauds and that they were gonna
you did say that.
Overrated.
I've been saying that the whole season too.
And I said Ben Simmons was gonna hold us back in the playoffs last year. I was right about that. So that's 3 hot takes. I'm 3-0 with.
Is that really a hot take though?
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe that last one wasn't that hot. Maybe that last one wasn't that hot. Maybe that last one wasn't that hot.
Hey, I got a hot take. The sun's gonna come up tomorrow. I got a hot take.
I was about to say.
Well, listen, it wasn't okay. I would say this. It's not that hot of a take, but I was getting a lot of pushback.
Fans were crazy. The stands were crazy on the internet. The stands were crazy on the internet.
And Dub noticed December of last year, I said Ben Simmons on Facebook. I said Ben Simmons going to hold us back in the playoffs, and I was attacked immediately by tons of people. And exactly what happened.
Hey, I went from 1,000 to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube just for hating Ben Simmons. They came at me every day, and I stood in the fire.
Facts. I saw that.
I remember. It's much easier to look good on the court when your sidekick is playing up to his potential.
Absolutely, I agree with that. You're right.
So when I see Harden come to play, and I can do a full scope of the game and I can judge it correctly. But until then, it's Embiid and half a Maxey.
I think anything less than 25 from Harden in this upcoming game is unacceptable. That's it. That's the final straw for me. If he can't give us a 25-point game in an important, like, we need a sidekick kind of guy, what are we doing here?
See, this is why I already got. If that's the type of hope you guys are holding on for this game, this is why I already got it as an L. Because if he couldn't do that in Game 4 at home, how the hell is he about to do that in Toronto in Game 6? He got to go to the 6 in Game 6. It's over in front of the sixth guy. The sixth guy going to be there. 6 Toronto.
He needs to figure something out, man. You know what's crazy about Harden? I think he played one way for 9 years in Houston, and then he went to Brooklyn. And he didn't like what was going on there. And I think that was different than anything he was used to. And then he came here and he thought it was going to be all peaches and cream. And this is something different than he's used to. And it starts to make me feel like Harden just doesn't, he keeps finding these things he's not used to because nothing is what it was in Houston. Like, you got to adapt.
But did you post a picture of him in Houston earlier? Somebody posted, yeah. So I saw a picture of him in Houston. He did get a lot bigger. I know I can't be talking myself, but
you're not an NBA player. Yeah, he did.
He got a lot bigger. Sure. I thought he was in good shape, but when I saw that picture of him in Houston, bro, I'm like, no, he's definitely out of shape, bro. He's out of. Go look at Houston. It was a picture it was like the promo. The promo pics they do at the beginning of the season. Yeah. He was skinny, bro. He was skinny.
He did that to get out of Houston. Like, he gained the weight to get out of Houston.
He requested a trade. And
that was a long time ago. He could have been got that all by now. But
no, he didn't. No. In all fairness to him, if you pay attention to when he got to Brooklyn, they was talking about it. They said, "Yo, like, he lost like 20 pounds in like a week." Like you saw now. At the end of the day, you get older. Like, that grown man weight gonna stick to you after a while.
That's a fact. But I was just saying that we thought that he was in like good enough shape, but maybe that's it. Maybe he do need to, because I mean, he's not. You're right. This weight do stick to you when you get older, but it's not like he can't get it off of him.
Not when you're a professional athlete. Not when you have the trainers and the dietitians. All that stuff.
I get what you're saying, but also, you know, I feel like he hasn't been the same since the hamstring injury.
That too.
And I feel like that's affected the way that's affected the way he approaches conditioning.
Okay. I can't argue that. I mean, it's definitely something to think about.
You know what's also crazy? He was great for the first 3 or 4 games he was here, and then after the one game where he had a 26-point triple-double and he blew another team out, he ran the stairs after the game to show off. Like,
you said this before.
Because his PR person texted him like, yo, you got to show them that you're dedicated and you're doing extra work and stuff. So he's like, I'm going to run the stairs. He ran the stairs, and they interviewed him after the game, and he's like, if I don't do it now, you know what? He said some kind of like a cryptic like quote about working hard or something, and he's literally stunk it up ever since that day. So
can I ask you a question?
That blows my mind, though. It's true.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Do y'all think James Harden is coasting because he wants Maxey to take it to another level? No, let me finish. Because if you notice, ever since Harden got there, Maxey's game, he's been scoring more. He's been shooting better from the three. He's been shooting better from the field. He's been an overall more potent offensive threat since Harden got there. And I feel like, as we said earlier, Harden he's been used to playing the game one way. And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just trying to pose the question. Harden has been playing one way his entire career, and he's been used to having to be the guy. And it's probably the best supporting cast he's had outside of the whole Brooklyn situation, but that didn't really last. So it's probably the best starting lineup he's probably ever had, right? So a guy in Tyrese Maxey, someone who's young, fiery, that can score on all 3 levels. You can tell, like there, in my opinion, there are moments where you can tell where Harden is like telling Maxey to go, like he's trying to create. And there are times where I feel like Harden just takes it back. He takes a back seat too much sometimes. It's like, bro, like we need you to.
I don't think that's a choice, Tone.
There's going to be a game. There's going to be those games where there's going to be a game where you have to give us 25.
I don't think it's a choice. You guys think it's a choice. I don't think it's. I think Harden knows exactly what he's capable of.
It's a combination. It's a combination of choice.
He can't beat anybody off the dribble. That can't.
Go ahead, Dove.
I honestly think in the beginning, I was like, all right, maybe he is coasting for the playoffs. I'm like, all right, he coasting for the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? So this can be his year to show off in the playoffs. And then we got to the playoffs. I'm like, and then I'm like, all right, maybe he coasted for the first series. But then he found out this shit ain't what I thought it was going to be. I can't coast, but he ain't got it. It's like a lose-lose situation.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can coast not being able to beat somebody off the dribble. I think if you could do it, you do it when you could do it. And if it ain't now, I don't know when.
I don't think he's coasting because we still see him try to do it. Like, and he tries. Not, he's trying. It's just Precious Achiuwa is smacking that thing into the third row without even jumping. Like, just
he doesn't even have
the fuck out of here.
He doesn't even have the same lift. He doesn't even get off the ground. He doesn't even get off the ground the same. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, let's be totally honest. Let's be totally honest with ourselves about this. We traded. We traded a player we wasn't getting no minutes from. We traded a player that is unplayable in crucial minutes, and we traded a player that's a streaky shooter and can't defend for an aging James Harden and Paul Millsap. If I'm being completely honest,
we deserve this.
No. If I'm being completely honest, like, what did we really lose in terms of this trade? Like let's be totally honest.
Because we know Ben wasn't coming back.
Ben, and that's another point I try to get across people. Ben wasn't coming back. He made it clear he wasn't going to play another minute. So we traded James Harden essentially for Steph Curry and Andre Drummond. This team was doing what they was doing with the roster as it was currently built without Ben Simmons. So if I'm being completely honest, in this situation, I still rather ride with James Harden than Ben Simmons in this situation.
I think I do too.
100%.
I think I do too. I see people now that now that shit is hitting a fan, and I guess I'm one of those people.
He ain't even playing in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's not even playing in Brooklyn, but I see that now that shit hitting the fan. People are saying that Ben was better than this, but
No, he wasn't.
you got it. You're tripping, bro.
People are
you're
saying
absolutely that? Yeah, especially after the last game.
We're
I saw people saying that.
We're
in that
slandering
Sixers
James Harden for not for shooting the ball only 11 times. Ben Simmons didn't
Didn't
shoot the
shoot
ball
at all.
at all.
Exactly.
He
At
went
least-
four
at least-
straight fourth quarters with 0
Right.
field goal attempts.
At least James make his free throws. Like,
Yeah, that's a plus.
It might have been the Ben Simmons fanboys trying to peek their heads back out. Maybe.
And the
I don't
craziest
know.
part is,
You
I
know
don't.
it.
I think RB Philly said this a while ago, like in the middle of the summer or something. He said, I actually don't think he's ever going to play basketball again. And it just came out today that he told the Nets that he has a mental block
that's
preventing
causing his
him.
back.
He has a mental block preventing him from playing. That's adding stress that's tied into his back soreness.
That was sad. I actually
Thought that was a troll. I
Actually,
thought that was like Ballsack Sports or something. I thought that was a troll page, and it was Bleacher Report. Like what?
that was the first time I actually felt bad for him a little bit. Because I'm like, to admit something like that, you got to be going through some shit. No, I'm just saying, Eastwood. I'm just saying a little, just on the strength of like, dude, what is going on with you that you rather have people think that about you?
No, you're
Than
right.
to step on the court. Like,
you're right.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel bad. Like, what is going on?
Okay,
with you, bro?
then don't play basketball, bro. Like, go do something else. Because if he has those serious issues, and you don't know, one day somebody with serious issues because something serious could happen, and then everybody would say we all should have saw the signs. You know what I mean? Something
right.
weird like that. Like I don't want to say that on YouTube or whatever. I'm just
No,
saying.
I get
like,
what you're saying.
there
So
could
it's
he
reality.
could definitely have some mental issues. It seems like he does.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Nobody, when you start to think about like, all right, at first we was like, okay, he's a selfish person who wants to get whatever he wants. But you gotta think at this point, he'd already got what he wants, and he's still not doing anything. So at this point, it's like it might really be something wrong with this kid.
Look, people with mental health and depression, though, they don't show up on the bench wearing a bright suit Versace outfit with sunglasses on. Like
that part.
They show up in all black, like hiding in the corner. They don't want people to see them. This dude wants to be seen.
That's a fact. You gotta definitely acknowledge that part for sure.
Anyway, we've been up here for longer than probably anybody. It was fun.
Expected.
It was fun.
Yeah,
man.
definitely
It was a lot
They
of
held
fun.
it down though.
Yeah, real quick. I know
ahead.
y'all said this is my final point, and this is the Ben Simmons point. And Eastwood, I think you just made it right. I think at this point, I think he is. At this point, I'm starting to think he really is going through something, right?
Mhm.
But like y'all said, right, his actions
It's not speaking to that.
It's not showing me that damn, like I'm really going through something. This motherfucker coming up to the games,
Looking like a clown.
Looking like Krusty the Clown. He like
I mean, they do say the pressure hides behind happiness.
Right. Do you know what?
I don't know.
Look,
like,
do you know
bro,
the
he
type
wants
of
to
people?
be seen.
Do you know the type of people that get away with wearing sunglasses inside? Grammy award-winning
And
music
rappers.
artists,
And
and that's it. Like to wear sunglasses consciously inside of an arena, you think you're somebody big time.
In the Men in Black.
And video game
Don't forget
streamers,
the Men in
maybe.
Black. Don't
Maybe
forget the Men in
video game
Black.
streamers.
Man, all I know is, man, I'm glad we cut our losses, and I'd much rather take my chances with our current situation
James,
than what's
exactly.
going on over there. I'm sorry.
All right, so last question: if we survive the Raptors, do we get past round 2? Yes or no? Go ahead, Tone.
Well, Miami actually just closed out Atlanta, so I'm gonna be honest, man. Now here's the only saving grace. Kyle Lowry is dealing with hamstring issues, which is very serious in basketball terms for guys' age. Jimmy Butler is dealing with knee issues, so it's going to be tough. If we get past the Raptors, man, the Heat series going six games minimum. And I'm not saying who winning or losing. I'm just saying it's going 6 games minimum if we get out of this series.
Yeah. Here's I'll give mine, and then we'll go to Dove and then Jay. if we get past this Raptors series, there is not a shot in hell this Sixers roster is competing with the Miami Heat. Look, they got a point guard facilitating. They got one of the best glue guys in the league. They got a center that can drop a 30-point triple-double on you. On top of all of those things, they got two white boy snipers coming out of the curtains. Just Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, and they got too much. I'm the Sixers fan that usually tries to force myself to be positive at the end of the day, but I don't see that happening at all. I just want to beat the Raptors so their fans can stop acting like they're the best thing in the world. But I don't see us getting past Miami Heat if that happens. Go ahead, Dove.
Yeah, man, I gotta be objective, man. I don't see us beating the Heat. I know there are faults in a sense, but we don't have it. James Harden's not playing good, and Embiid's hand is damn near broke. Doc Rivers is not that guy as the coach. I think the Heat are better suited to win the series. I got Miami at 6.
Ooh. Thank you for giving them 6 games. I mean, giving us 2 games, a couple of games there, because I man, I'm so over this goddamn team, bro. I'm so over this team. I'm ready to go to the offseason, man. That would be the only thing that would at least would in some way be an upside that we know Doc Rivers will be gone. We know we can focus on our offseason. Maybe get another star over here. Maybe people want to. If we let's say we do keep James
everybody Hill over the summer,
right? And let's say we do everybody Hill over the summer, and let's say we do keep James, and we're able to sign him for less. If we get another person, like a good wing or something, like, you know what I'm saying, somebody else in this mix that can shoulder some of this load, we could be okay and work on that bench, of course. Get Korkmaz out of here. I'm over. I think Thibault is a good trade piece. Let's see what we can get for Thibault.
I'm glad you said that. Let me ask you something real quick. I already know how I feel about this, but y'all think Tobias Harris getting traded in the offseason?
Yeah, I think I should be, but I mean, but at the end of the day, at this point, I don't even know if I'll be mad if he doesn't, because at this, like I said, he's the only guy that's at least given us something. It's just that the fact that he costs so much. I wish we could do something about that contract. That's really what I wish.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Harden's not a guy right now that you can say, yo, we need a bucket. Tobias is not a guy either that you could say, yo, we need a bucket. Like, he slowly will give you 18 points throughout the course of a game, but yeah, at that price, especially if you lose in the first round or the second round, if you get into the offseason and you say there's a bunch of changes we need to make, well, we need some money to make those changes, and you just can't have that big of a contract for a guy that's averaging 17 points a game. I just don't think it's going to happen. If he plays well, if he continues to play well, I think it's just up in his trade value, because I thought you couldn't trade him at all.
That's true. Yes, and I agree with that. And then I think about his worth. He has to be traded because we need pieces. We need bench pieces. We need another guy over here to shoulder load. I don't think we don't need a superstar. We just like a CJ McCollum. Well, I guess he's an all-star at least, right? I don't know. So we need another guy, man. We need another guy. We need another guy who can shoulder load, a guy that's a walking bucket. And because we can, I'm cool with James being the new Chris Paul. I don't know about you guys. Everybody's hanging James Harden for what he's turning into, but I mean,
I'm not mad at what he turned into. It's the fact that his points are kind of like his points aren't impactful.
See, but this is the difference.
They don't result to wins.
This is why you guys heard me hanging.
Chris Paul will do something though when the game gets spicy. Chris Paul will give you 2 or 3 mid-range jumpers in a row, just sticking daggers into the other team. He'll still do that. I don't see it from James, man.
Yeah, that's a fact too. But the reason why I came out more swinging on Embiid than Harden, because I look at Harden as a guy that can't do shit, and where Embiid is somebody who won't do shit. So I'm not going to hate Harden for no longer be able to get past somebody. We was the ones that traded for him. I think it was worth it. We had a guy that was sitting at home not doing shit. I had rather take a chance on an Asian James Harden to worry about Ben Simmons for another day. So it is what it is. And I'm good with him giving us 14, 16 assists with a couple of buckets. I know it's not ideal. I can't believe I'm saying this because this is almost exactly what Ben Simmons was doing, and we hate him for
15-point games,
right?
It was 15 and 11.
But I'm just saying, as far as what we got, I mean, at the end of the day, here's the thing too. It's not like we was initially upset, but if Ben Simmons had came the fuck back and played, we would have had to get the hell over it and watch this guy come to the playoffs again and try to get it done. But he chose not to come back. You know what I'm saying?
We would have got over it though. We would
have got over it. That's my point. But he decided not to come back. So what I'm saying is that now that we're in this predicament because he decided not to come back, I'm willing to take a chance on James Harden.
Imagine you're 6'11", 240. And somebody says to you, all you got to do is go dunk on somebody's face. Like, most of us would dream of the day that we would be able to do something like that. All you got to do is go use your physicality and dunk on somebody, and this fan base will go nuts. Game 1. And he just can't. That dude is just the most mentally soft person I've ever seen.
Also, a sidebar, we did beat the Heat without James Harden. And,
we did.
Embiid, right?
I didn't say my take on that. So with the Heat, of course, I don't see us win. I don't even see us winning this series, but I feel like for some reason, we have a better chance because only in the sense of that Toronto, for some reason, have our number in a different way than the Miami Heat has. We have beaten a Miami Heat in situations, and like you said, like you just said, without James Harden, we have found ways to get beyond Miami. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like with Toronto. Bro, this team is scary when it comes to us.
We match up better with
Miami. There you go. Even though Miami's probably still gonna take us to shit, I just think we have a better, like you said it the best. We had a better matchup. That's all.
Facts. Let me jump through some of these super chats that I've.
You accumulated all the time.
Brandon Drolls, thanks, man. He says, keep it up. Mike D'Antoni or Sam Cassell or Dan Burke. That's pretty much everybody's assuming that Doc Rivers is gone. Yeah. Because really, if we don't get past the second round, I don't see Doc Rivers coming back. I mean, I don't see him coming back anyway, really.
Sam Cassell, but to answer his question.
Yeah, Connor says, great stream, guys. Does Furkan get more minutes than Shake? People are thinking that Doc's going to revert to Furkan Korkmaz because of just how bad, the bench has looked recently.
It don't make a difference to me.
Irish says, Jay, screaming the loudest doesn't make you right. He was so mad about you screaming, he paid $2 to say that.
That's a fact. At least I got to make you some money over it.
He was like, no, this guy's not getting away with this. I'm going to $2 for it. Darius with Giannis as a forward framer can have a lower center of gravity and Embiid cannot, so he's easily stripped. Man, there's just a lot. Thank you guys, though. Thank you for the support. Sorry, we've been ignoring the chat the whole time.
It's a cool way to spell his name.
The stream was just a lot of fun, man. Andy Walker, Harden needs no. Bro, what does that mean?
That means that basically means no milk in the chicken.
Right. No whipping the monkey.
No milk in the chicken.
What's that have to do with how he plays?
I guess he's saying that part. I don't know. I guess he's trying to say that with that built up tension, he'll be able to use that in the game. I'm guessing I'm trying to make sense of it. I guess that's what he's saying.
Seriously though, they do say that you shouldn't do that before you go to the gym. You have less,
I heard boxers don't have sex before fights, right?
Mike Tyson was still getting that shit.
That sounds fun. Shit.
Yeah, he was on a bender 6 hours before a title fight, and still. Daniel, some talent and hard work over talent and no work ethic. I agree with that, man. All right, guys, thanks for coming through. This has been a 4-point play. I think he's talking about Harden over Ben, maybe.
Okay. Right. Okay, I get it.
I don't really know, honestly. I'm lost in the.
I got it. Good stream, guys.
Thanks for coming through, guys. This is the 4-point play. We're here every Tuesday night. All right, so stay tuned. Come back next Tuesday. 301 people still in here. Hit the like button. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Dove. Thank you, Tone. See you next time.